Hello, hello! My name is Liz Ashley, and welcome to my channel! Please like and subscribe and comment and all the things, all the things to help me grow. So there was a mass shooting in America. Surprise, surprise. And 2 children were killed and 17 were injured in Minneapolis school shooting. So school's back in session. And of course, that in America, that means school shootings, which is just horrific. And we're going to watch this and talk about it. But there's a lot of other elements to this. The shooter, they think, was trans. And now, I don't know. That Kash Patel is saying that. There's some other people saying that. I don't know if that's necessarily true. That's what's being reported. Which, of course, anybody can be a school shooter because in America, everybody has guns. And so... trans people are 1% of the population. The majority of shooters are cis white males. So it's kind of ridiculous to single this person out, but they were also on very far right wing message boards, and they were a Nazi. It's really sad and it's really horrible, but we're gonna listen to this.
My husband's a firefighter, and he got a phone call this morning and said that there was a incident at Annunciation, and that's where my niece and nephew go to school. So we live nearby, so he just took off on foot. And my brother-in-law is a firefighter too, and it's his kids that go to Annunciation. And thankfully, we heard about 15 minutes ago that they're safe. But it's so awful and it's so scary.
The shooting occurred 2 days after school started at Annunciation Catholic School, a private elementary school with about 395 students. Children were at morning mass when the shooting began. Police in Richfield, a nearby suburb, said a man dressed in all black with a rifle was reported on the scene.
During the mass, a gunman approached on the outside on the side of the building and began firing a rifle through the church windows towards the children sitting in the pews at the mass. Shooting through the windows, he struck children and worshipers that were inside the building. The shooter was armed with a rifle, a shotgun, and a pistol.
See, I just don't even think anyone should be able to get a rifle. I'm probably talk about it more on Friday, but when more information gets out. But no matter what their ideology is, no matter who they are, whatever, we need serious gun reform in America. And unfortunately, I just don't think it's going to happen because the Trump administration has been loosening gun regulations recently. I think it was illegal for abusers or people who have abused their wives or families to be able to get guns. Now they can. It's a very frustrating situation because I don't think that this administration is going to do anything about it. And Trump has barely said anything about it. And everyone in his administration has just been saying that they're praying for them. And that's nice and all, but that's not going to do shit. Okay. Children keep dying. People keep dying. There's a mass shooting almost every day in this country. And yet we do nothing about it. We do nothing about it. People can just get rifles. People can just get semi-automatic weapons, and we act like it's normal, and we act like it's some innate right. Nobody wants to listen to the Constitution anymore. Nobody cares about that anymore. We've essentially ripped it up and thrown it away. So why is this the only thing? Why is this the only thing that we're sticking by?
This was a deliberate act of violence. 2 young children, ages 8 and 10, were killed where they sat in the pews. Their parents have been notified. 17 other people were injured. 14 of them being children. 2 of those children are in critical condition. The coward who fired these shots ultimately took his own life in the rear of the church.
The school connected to Annunciation Catholic Church, which is located nearby in a residential area of Minnesota's largest city.
These were Minneapolis families. These were American families. And the amount of pain that they are suffering right now is extraordinary. And don't just say this is about thoughts and prayers right now. These kids were literally praying. It was the first week of school. They were in a church. These are kids that should be learning with their friends. They should be playing on the playground. They should be able to go to school or church in peace without the fear or risk of violence, and their parents should have the same kind of assurance.
Yeah, there's like a phone ban going, like a school phone ban. And I know it's kind of like a touchy situation right now. Like, Taylor Lorenz just went on Breaking Points and they had like a whole discussion about it. Taylor Lorenz is against it for other reasons, but it's so messed up. The first thing I thought when they were talking about having phone bans in schools was what are they going to do if a mass shooting happens? What are they going to do? You're leaving them helpless. And it's so messed up that was the first thing that I thought about. I wasn't thinking about if they could focus. I wasn't thinking about them not having access to information. No, I wasn't thinking about that. I was thinking about, what if they're in a school shooting situation? What are they going to do? Who are they going to reach out to if they don't have their phone? And it's so messed up that those are the things that we have to think about in this country. Yeah.
These are the sort of basic assurances that every family should have, every step of the day, regardless of where they are in our country. I'm so deeply saddened and I'm so sorry to the families that I know are suffering right now. My ask is to everyone, stand by them.
Yeah. So I have another video we're going to watch. But yeah, it's despicable. And then there was another news station that interviewed like this kid, and I'm not going to watch that one because I think it's insane that people are interviewing these children. Like, I don't like that. Like, I understand you want to interview them because you want to know what happened, but like, I feel like you're just putting them through the trauma again. They were asking this kid about what happened to him and how his friend had to dive on top of him so he wouldn't get shot. And his friend got hurt because he because he jumped on him and saved his life. These are children. And this is what they have to go through. And then you have some guy with a microphone after one of the most traumatic experiences of your life coming up to you trying to get a story. Like, God, it's just like so despicable. Did you see that they are not telling everyone he had written all over his weapons in Russian slurs, etc. Would post clips and talking to Russian. I did see that. Yeah, I don't know what they're posting about. I know that like the YouTube thumbnails that are coming out right now are just like horrendous. Like even Don Lemon, like I don't like Don Lemon. And I think a lot of people are like trying to like be like, oh, he's progressive now. But he was going live right after this happened and his thumbnail said like trans terror ? Is that really? Like, you're doing that to get clicks. You're doing that to get clicks. You're doing that to get attention. That's not what we should be talking about. We should be talking about gun reform. We should be talking about mental health resources. We should be talking about how to fix this problem, what the problem is, even though I don't think it's going to get fixed because obviously this administration is not going to fix it. You shouldn't be coming up with clickbait titles when a friggin' tragedy just happened. And I don't know what he said about it or whatever. I don't know. And, you know, he had like a question mark. Okay, whatever. Like, maybe he was saying, oh, well, maybe the person's not trans or we don't know yet or whatever. And that's fine, whatever. But like, I just think that that thumbnail is so despicable and it's such clickbait. I don't like that he did that. Tim Pool did it earlier. And they're like, oh, trans people attacking a Catholic church. Like they're just, and that's what the narrative is going to be. That's what the narrative is going to be. This person was a literal Nazi. But that's what the narrative is going to be. Yeah, it's insane. All the Russian bloggers are talking about it. Yeah, no. Like, and they're going to try to act like this person was on the left. Like, I think Laura Loomer was like, oh, how are the Democrats going to try to skirt this one? This person was a Nazi, but apparently he didn't like Donald Trump either. Okay, Nick Fuentes is a Nazi and he doesn't like Donald Trump either. I wouldn't call him a Democrat. I wouldn't call him on the left. They don't care. Literal children died and they don't care. They don't care.
I'm going to interrupt you real quick because we're going to go to Marielle Mose, who was able to talk with a witness who says that they escaped the gunman. Marielle, what can you tell us?
Yeah, good morning, Heather. So we're actually in downtown Minneapolis right now where this witness works to catch up with him after he saw or he heard these gunshots ring out this morning on his way to work. He lives in the Armitage neighborhood, not many blocks from where this shooting took place at Annunciation School. Here's what he had to say of what he heard this morning around 8:20 this morning.
There was 2 cars in front of us that just stopped in front of the school. So we were like the 3rd car behind. And I saw a man running up the street the other way, and he was frantically running, like he was running for his life. And so that kind of alerted me that something was wrong. We heard probably about 15 to 20 gunshots in about 30 seconds. So we just booked it. We took a left. We jumped on Harriet. You know, we drove by and we said, "Are you okay? Do you want to come in the car with us?" And he said, "Yes, please." He's like, "Someone's shooting at me. And so we get in the car and we just ask him what's going on. He said that a man dressed in all black was firing shots, and he didn't see anything else besides what he was wearing, but he hit the ground. His hands were all beat up from hitting the ground so hard. Then he got up and he said, "I have to start running. I have to go."
So, learning more about what this person witnessed, he said that this runner got in his car and he brought him to safety to his home. He said that because the runner was running outside the school and saw this gunman, I asked him, well, was this shooting taking place outside? And the runner told this witness that the gunman was shooting in the parking lot near the school. Again, police will, I'm sure, confirm all of this later, but this is just what the runner told this witness who heard the gunshot.
Yeah, they were shooting from outside of the school, so I don't think they actually went inside the school. From what I have seen. They also like idolized a lot of other school shooters. It's just depressing in the time we're in because I feel like it's just going to get worse. And you know, there was another news station earlier that was like, it's just sad that all these soft targets are where these people go. And I hate that word, soft targets, because it just means that they want to continue to militarize everything. They want to continue to have, you know, police everywhere. And that's what they want to do. And my school where I went, we had metal detectors. We had security guards. You had to sign in at every entrance. At every entrance, there was a security guard. At every entrance, there was a metal detector. At every entrance, they would look through your bag. So every day when I went to school, I would go through the metal detectors. They would look through my bag, and you would have to sign in every single day. Every single day. And you know what? That school, my high school, I wasn't there when it happened. It was just a couple years ago. But they also had a school shooter. So all of those things, the metal detector, looking at the bag, having to sign in, none of that stopped this. None of it stopped it. And when all of these people keep saying, well, if we just keep doing this, if we just add more police officers, if we just do this, if we just do that, and it keeps happening because it's the guns. Because that's what is the problem. When you can easily get an automatic weapon, when you can easily get a rifle, when you can easily get all of these guns, that is the problem. And until we fix that, this is never going to be solved. That is insane. It sounds like a jail. No, and that's the other thing. My school was like that because it was in the city. And unfortunately, a lot of Black and brown communities and a lot of like schools that are in the city, they do operate in that way, and they had already been operating that way. So when all of these politicians come on screen and they say, oh, well, we need to do this, we need to do that, we need to add metal detectors, all these things, they have already done that to kids in Black and brown neighborhoods. And a lot of the resource officers that are in those schools do not treat the students very well. They do not treat the students very well. But I always like to say that because it didn't stop a school shooting from happening there. The prison pipeline, yes, exactly. Exactly. That was my point. Yes, that's exactly what it is. And it makes you feel like you've already done something wrong because you have to go through a metal detector. They have to look through your bag, and like it's a whole thing. And you always have resource officers breathing down your neck if you try to leave and then come back. So they're already trying to make you feel like this is the treatment you deserve just because you live in this certain area. That's exactly what it is. This is not the answer. The answer is gun reform. That is the answer.